It's interesting if I can land it.
I'm sure he will. Yes, welcome everyone when they eventually all get here. It's time for another Warhammer game. It's been it's been over a month now. Because I'd like to keep these as just like a monthly thing.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because it's been Jacob was April, Connor was May, and then you are now in June.
Oh yeah, it's June.
And then after this one, it will be a free for all one. Like 500 points, so it doesn't take an actual metric year to do anything. But at the same time, though, it's like you could we could either do it at 500 points, or we just have 800 points, but then have like the CP as kind of like currency to like buy people off for a turn, not to kill you.
I mean, that'd be an interesting thing.
Yeah, it'd be an absolutely mad thing, but it's like it'd be really interesting because it's like you're then better off just having like as many CP as possible starting off, so you could just buy people off.
Oh boy. I'd have none left. Just like, please, no.
Please, no, not the betrayal.
Not today.
Just making sure everything's working right on YouTube, yeah. Yes, welcome. This is our new board. This is the new map we're going to be using today. So we've used out of the 4. Is it 4 that they give you? Like, it's just like here's 4 just setups.
Here's 4, and then you can make your own, I think.
All right, jammy.
I think you can.
We think, we hope, we pray.
Hopefully, that'd be interesting.
Because I can imagine like someone was like, because yeah, you can take this entire asset and just take it for your own the knight's scenery piece. So he's like, you could just add like a bunch of there's just so many knights just to shoot across the battlefield.
Just when they blow up.
Man. But yeah, today we've got Kim with us today, and she will be playing Harlequins.
Hi.
And the Emperor's Children were making a return after being absolutely obliterated last time. After Connor's Dreadnought turned around and went, no.
Not today.
Not today. Did you even have the honor of... I don't think it exploded. I think Connor re-rolled it, if I recall. I don't know. I hoped it exploded. But yeah.
Always fun.
Always hope for the explosion. Unless it's your own explosions.
Yeah, and then it's like, please
just don't. I beg. But yeah, we'll start off with your army. I'll just pull up the card. Nope, that is entirely not my card. There we are.
Do you want me to just start at the top of what I've got on my list?
Yeah.
Okay, so my HQ I have is the Salusia, which is this boy. It's also my warlord. The warlord trait I've got on that is Look of the Laughing God, which lets me reroll hit rolls, wound rolls, and damage rolls of 1, which is always fun. Everything on my list has more or less 3 things that are the same, which is flip belts, so I can just hop over terrain like it's not there. Hollow suit, which gives 4 up in Vun, and then Rising Crescendo, so I can advance and charge in the same turn, and fall back and shoot or charge in the same turn. So I can just hop in and out where I want, really.
Be an absolute jumpy boy.
Yeah, they just jump around a lot. Do you want me to go through the psychic?
Yeah.
For it. So what I've got is Mirror of Minds, which has a warp charge of 7. And it says, if manifested, select an enemy within 24 inches of the psychic, then both players roll a d6. And if my roll is equal or higher than yours, then you suffer a mortal wound, and then it just keeps going until either they're destroyed or you roll higher than me. So it's just a rolling game. It's just a rolling game.
That's so mean.
They get worse. I've also got Shards of Light, which has a warp charge of 7, and just select an enemy with an 18-inch that suffers D3 mortal wounds and takes 1 from the leadership characteristic until the next psychic phase. And then she has Smite, and I can deny a psychic power as well.
Nice.
Does she have anything else interesting? You can pick one of 4 options for them to have, and I chose Veil of Illusion for her.
Okay.
So when any other of my units is within 6 inches of her, when it says determining, I can't say it. Determining, thank you. If that unit is within range of attacks from that you try to do to me, you have to add 6 inches to it.
So if I try and make a charge roll
away. Yeah. So like, no, for like attacks. So I think it's like shooting.
Oh, all right.
So basically, if I'm like 12 inches away, and you can shoot 12 inches, you have to add an extra 6 inches on. So I'm still 12 inches away, but it comes up as 20.
Okay. So is it a aura effect for other units within?
Yeah. So it's just if she's like there and he's there, then they're both 6 inch. I don't know if she's included. I'd assume so. They're both
I'd
6 inches
assume so.
more away than they actually are.
So if they're within 6 inches of the Shadow Seer, then they can just There's like, haha, I'm even further away.
Further away, but they're not.
Yeah.
So it just kind of like, oh, we look further away than we are.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So a wee bit nutty.
Yeah, pretty much. That's all the interesting stuff for her. My troop master also has hollow suit, so 4 up, flip belt, rising crescendo, and I gave him a relic, which is the ghoul mask. So I can basically just deny. I can attempt to deny 1 psychic power in each enemy psychic phase in the same manner as my psyker. In addition, add 1 to deny the witch tests made for the bearer. So it just gives me another like stop psyching.
Another anti-psyker.
Yeah, and then for his, I chose Darkness's Bite. So each time I fight after I've fought, I can just select an enemy unit, and you have 2 mortal wounds. Just for the fun of it.
Just with no save, it's just like, haha, die.
Yeah. So as long as I've made, if I shoot you, wait, is it if I shoot as well? Each time, fight. So melee. If I like melee you, then I can just do 2 more wounds after I've fought for no reason.
Right.
But it doesn't matter if all my attacks missed you. You still get them 2 wounds as long as I've attempted.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, as long as I've attempted,
Man.
It doesn't have to hit or wound. As long as I've attempted it, it goes through.
Okay.
And then you just get 2 mortal wounds. That's all the fun bits for him. I have 2 troops which are the same, which is this one and this one, who just have shuriken pistols and Harlequin's blade, but they also have plasma grenades. They just have flip belt, hollow suit, and rising crescendo again.
Okay.
These ones, they have a different weapon. They have the Harlequin's kiss instead of the blade, but everything else about them's the same. So they just have a better weapon, basically.
Okay.
My Death Jester is this boy. He has Deadly Hunter, so I can target anyone, even if it's not the closest unit.
Okay.
He has an ability called Death is Not Enough, so if I've attacked you, and then one of your model flees in the same turn that I've attacked,
Yeah.
I can choose the first model that flees instead of you.
Okay.
And then I also chose for him to have Harvester of Torment, which is each time this model shoots, if the target unit contains 6 or more models, each successful hit roll scores 3 hits instead of 1. So I can
Okay.
just, if 1 hits, it goes into 3.
Right, got ya.
And then I also gave him a relic, which is Kigorich's Lament, which just basically changes my weapon profile to the Lament's Shuriken and the Lament's Whale,
Okay,
which
okay.
it's sort of the same as the base one. It just, the Whale does more damage, and instead of 24 inches, it's now 36. So it's better range.
Got ya.
My Solitaire is the fun boy. He has Blitz, which is once per battle, instead of making a normal move with a Solitaire, you can make a Blitz move. So I add 2d6s to the move characteristic,
Right.
and the attack characteristic is increased to 10 for the rest of the turn.
Jeez.
He already has 8 attacks. So it
Right.
increases it by 2. He has a 3-up invuln instead of the 4. He has Rising Crescendo and Flip Belt. And I gave him the Laughing God's Eye relic,
Okay.
which is friendly Harlequin units. They automatically pass morale tests as long as they're within 6 inches of him.
Okay.
And then, in addition, roll a d6 each time a friendly Harlequin's unit suffers a mortal wound in the psychic phase while they're within 6 inches. And on a 6, that mortal wound's ignored. So he can, like, if I roll a 6, he gets rid of mortal wounds as long as he's within 6 inches.
Okay. So you could just negate any mortal wounds dealt by me.
Yeah, basically. As long as I keep him close to stuff.
Right.
That's pretty much all the interesting stuff about him. I have 2 lots of Skyweavers, which I think have the same things. Yeah. They have Blur of Colour, so when I advance, I just add 6 inches to the move characteristic instead of rolling a dice.
Right.
So instead of 16 inches, it's 22 inches instead.
Okay.
Has Hollow Suit again, so 4 pin bun. Mirage launchers, your opponent must subtract 1 from any hit rolls made against this unit in the shooting phase,
Okay.
which I always forget about. And then it also has Rising Crescendo.
Got ya.
But they both have the same weapons, which is the Haywire Cannon and the Zephyrglaive.
Got ya.
But no, you don't have any vehicles, do you?
No, none of mine are vehicles.
Oh, okay then. That, it doesn't affect him too much then. It doesn't really. The Haywire Cannon's like, if it's vehicles, this is the one to have. I just put them on there anyway.
Fair enough. I mean, the weapon characteristic looks quite abusive as it is.
Yeah, it's an assault d6.
Yeah.
But it's only 4 strength, so yeah. And then I have my Starweaver, which is my dedicated transport. That has Blur of Colour as well, so it just adds 6 inch to its move, so it's 22 again instead of 16.
Okay.
Well, if I advance. It does explode if I roll a 6. So on a 6 it explodes, and every unit within 6 inches suffers a mortal wound.
Gotcha.
So that's not fun. 4 pin fun. It has Mirage launchers again, so subtract 1 from hit rolls made against it. And it's open topped, so if I put models in it, they can shoot the shooting phase. Yeah. Oh, passengers can shoot if this model falls back because of Rising Crescendo.
Right, got ya.
So yeah, that's what I've got.
Nutty, I've got to watch out, like, the ones I'm taking, because, like, basically your releasing your HQs are, like, the ones I'm more worried about, which is usually the case, and probably the better situation of it.
Yeah.
But no, like I think the one I'm probably most worried about is probably the Solitaire and the Jeff Jester.
Mm.
Those two specifically as your elites.
Yeah.
But no,
Well, you can have one solitaire in your army. You can have as many Jeff Jesters as you want.
I really.
Yeah.
That's oh, why?
And the 2 HQs I have are the only HQs for the whole army, so you can just have them as many times as you want, really.
Huh. So this is good. This is gonna be a rocky time for me. But this is like the only time I've been against like a an Eldar related army.
They are interesting to play. Let's just say that.
Man. But yeah, we're gonna start off with we're gonna jump over to the Emperor's Children list now. We start off with my HQ, which is my sorcerer, which has intoxicating elixir, which adds 1 to his strength and attack characteristic as the warlord.
Right.
Is that the warlord trait or is that just no? That's a relic. No, the intoxicating elixir is the relic. That's it. The actual warlord trait is the devourer of magic, which gives me the jammy ability to, when I do deny a psychic power, I consume it and he regains 1 wound back.
I don't like the sound of that.
So it's very much he's very much set up to be like, rather than like being sheltered off in a corner. I think that was something that I did to myself unintentionally when I went against Connor and just kind of held him back.
Yeah.
But with Devour Magic, it just means it just gives a bit more sustain. Is it great sustain? And it also allows me to deny an additional psychic power as well as.
Oh, okay.
So the weapons he has a let's go with the psychic powers first. With first one is Death Hex, so on a walk charge of 8. If manifested, select a visible enemy unit within 12 inches of the psyker. Until the start of the next psychic phase, that unit cannot take invuln saves. Then we have Delightful Agonies on a walk charge of 6. If manifested, select a visible slash. Heretic Astartes unit within 18 inches of the psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, roll a d6. Each time that unit suffers a wound, on a 5+, it does not lose that wound. So, disgusting resilience for Slanesh. Then we've got the usual smite. And then weapons wise, it's just a bolt pistol and a force stave, and then the 2 selection of grenades. Then we move over to the Chaos Lord.
The
Chaos Lord has a Lord of Chaos ability, which you can reroll hit rolls of 1 made for friendly Legion units within 6 inches of this model. It has a 4-up invuln save. And the weapons he has a Power Fist, which is ×2 to strength, -3 AP, D3 damage. But when making an attack with this weapon, I must subtract 1 from hit rolls, so it makes it a 3+ weapon.
Oh.
I've literally forgotten what the word is. Like the weapons check, it's like ballistic skill check and weapon skill check.
Oh, yeah.
Like it makes it because he's got a +2, but it just makes it a +3. So it's a bit harder, but he's obviously a tiny bit stronger.
Yeah.
Say a tiny bit, ×2. So he's 8 strength when it comes round to it. And then he has, because I've spent Gifts of Chaos to get an additional relic. Because obviously the intoxicating elixir was for the sorcerer, which gives him the 1 strength and 1 attack characteristic. For my sorcerer,
Mhm.
and the Chaos Lord Gaz Blissgiver, which is a 6-inch assault d6.
Yep.
This weapon can be fired within 1 inch of an enemy unit and can take enemy units within 1 inch of a friendly unit. So even if he's in combat or out of combat shooting, he can shoot into melee combat. If an enemy character model is wounded by Blissgiver but not slain, roll a d6 at the end of the phase. On a 6, they suffer d3 mortal wounds.
Ah. Right.
So it's a shy bit. It's kind of obviously it's a chance.
It's a chance one.
It's a chance one, but a decent chance if you get the chance.
Yeah.
So moving on, we're gonna look at the cultist, the barbarian as hell cultists. I have my usual setup of 4 auto guns to 5 with auto pistols and brutal assault weapons, and then the Chaos Champion, well, the Cultist Champion, not Chaos Champion, the Cultist Champion, which also has a assault pistol, well, auto pistol and assault weapon.
Right.
And because they're only mere mortals, they aren't affected by Legion traits, which with Emperor's Children is flawless perfection. It just means units that with this trait always fight first in the fight phase, even if they didn't charge. If the enemy has units that have charged or that have similar abilities, then alternate choosing units to fight, starting with the player whose turn is taking place. So if you charge me, you'd get first turn, but on the next turn, if they're still locked up on your turn, then I'd get to attack first.
Right. Okay.
So it's not it doesn't affect the cultists because cultists are mere mortals, but it affects all of my other infantry, bikers, and I think it's dreadnoughts as well, but I don't have dreadnoughts, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Well, hell.
Are they all one unit?
The 10 cultists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Then moving on, make sure to click on this screen so I'm not keep zooming in and out on TTS and giving people headaches. We're going to the Chaos Space Marines, which is a 5-man, and the 4 normal boys are just bolt pistol and chainswords.
Yeah.
And the aspiring champion has a power maul and a combi bolter.
Ooh.
With the chainsword, each time the bearer fights, it can make 1 additional attack with this weapon. So instead of attack characteristics of 1, for example, for Chaos Space Marine, it becomes a 2. So in total, 8 attacks.
Yeah.
So 8 hit rolls. And then with the, trying to make sure I've got everything there. Yeah, all the units are mark of Slanesh just as an overall thing, just so they're affected by Slanesh related stratagems and stuff like that.
Yeah. Are we using stratagems? Or
I mean, as long as you're happy to, or if you're not up for it, then we'll not do that. But then, yeah, I'm happy either way.
If you want me to use stratagems, I'll have to grab my book. I can try.
Yeah, can do. It means you can spend your CP on other stuff rather than just if you want to do rerolls.
Not gonna lie, I never really do rerolls because every time I've done them, I've rolled a 1 again.
So feels bad about that. Trying to think, is that the last of the Chaos Space Marines? Yep, that's in the Chaos Space Marines. So moving on to the Noisy Boys, my Noise Marines. There's 7 Marines with Sonic Blasters. There's 2 of them with Blastmasters, and the Noise Marine Champion has a Chainsword and a Sonic Blaster, because they can do that. It's really nutty. Sorry, say again, sorry.
Can they just have everything then?
Yeah, no, Noise Marine Champions are really stupid. like you can give them a sonic blaster, a combi plasma, and a doom siren all at once, and it's really dumb.
Fucking hell.
You can give like doom siren is essentially it's if you look on the back, you see the backpack. It's essentially what the speakers are for.
Oh.
It's like either you class it as that or you use because I think with the kit it's usually like a leather faced shoulder pad, human leather obviously, but
Right.
it's essentially it acts as a flamethrower, but a sound based flamethrower from the shoulder
Oh.
because it just auto hits. It's a auto hit D6 I think.
That's pretty good.
But I've not got it on this one because it costs a decent amount of points. I got full 800 points with this loadout.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, I tried to change the stuff around and realized I kind of betrayed myself out of a battalion. It's like it is what it is, I guess.
It is what it is.
So with the Sonic Blasters, these basically with Sonic Blasters, units targeted by this weapon do not gain any bonuses to their saving rolls for being in cover. Obviously, that doesn't make any difference anyway. But the Blastmaster's got two type variants. It's got the single frequency, which is a 48-inch heavy D3, strength 8, minus 2 AP, D3 damage.
Jesus Christ.
Then the varied frequency is a 36-inch assault D6 for strength minus 1 damage.
Right.
So they're good. And as a little topping on the icing of the cake, Noise Marines. In my army, it's because I'm Emperor's Children. The ability masters of Cacophony come into effect. The battlefield role of Emperor's Children Noise Marines is troops instead of elite.
Oh.
So they contribute
right.
to my battalion, like the actual infantry slot rather than the elite slot. And then they've also got Music of the Apocalypse. Each time a model is in this unit is slain, it is driven to make one last attack before succumbing to its injuries. Do not remove the slain model yet. After the attack, after the attacking unit has finished making all its attacks, the slain model can shoot with one of its ranged weapons as if it was the shooting phase. The slain model is then removed as a casualty as normal. So if you are killing them, do be aware you're going to get shot.
Yeah.
Is the general takeaway from them.
Yeah, I remember Connor telling me about that.
Yeah, like it's quite nutty. It's essentially like if you've got a Primaris and a Primaris Ancient just nearby.
Yeah.
Except they don't need anyone else nearby, they just need themselves.
They don't need anyone, they've got it.
I don't need your help, Dad.
I've got it by myself.
So yeah, moving on from Noise Marines, I've got my Havoc boys.
They look cool.
They are super jammy. Like I've picked up a box of like the new, because these are like the new Havocs now, like because it's the 3D pickups from GW's website. Like any of the nice ones like these are all the ones picked up from the 3D mod, like the 3D capture of the models on the shop site.
Oh.
It's like why the Obliterators and the Havocs look really nice, whereas the other models are all from Dawn of War.
Oh, okay.
I think with the Harlequins, the Harlequins are like custom polyed from using the base of the eldar models from Dawn of War.
When you select them, there's like the older models at the back.
Yeah.
They look awful, and then there's them ones at the front.
There's the nice ones.
Yeah, there's the awful ones, and then the good ones.
The goodest boys.
Yeah.
Because with these ones, the aspiring champion, which is this dude here, he just has a combi bolter and a chainsword. Now it's these four here that are the important ones.
Right.
Because all four of them have Reaper chain cannons.
I don't like that.
Which are 24-inch, heavy 8.
You know, with heavy weapons, if you move them, do you get like a penalty for them?
Now, these Havocs are special. After the update to Chaos Space Marines book, Codex 2, they got a buff which is called Stabilization Talents, which means this unit can move and fire heavy weapons without suffering penalties to their hit rolls. And their weapon skillers are free.
3.
Their ballistic skillers are free, so on a free up.
That's pretty good.
And
To be fair,
with 8 shots each, that's 32 shots.
Yeah, I don't like that anymore.
It's like, great, I hate it. And because they've got Marcus Lanesh, I can use the stratagem Endless Cacophony, which means I just get to do my shooting phase all over again.
Oh,
well,
God.
what the shooting phase for one unit, for that unit I choose.
Mm-hmm.
So a maximum potential of 64 shots.
I don't like the sound of that.
I don't like this anymore.
I don't like this anymore. No.
No. And that's there's also another strategy that I can just kind of slap and go, well,
Here it is.
It's like, haha, they are even dumber. And I wish I was joking, because there's the stratagem called Veterans of the Long War.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it adds one, like if you choose one unit, it adds 1 to all wound rolls made for this unit until the end of the phase.
Oh.
So I could spend 1 CP on that on the first time it shoots, and then spend another. Oh, is it that one? I've just gone past it. I'm a dumbass. I could spend 2 CP to do Endless Cacophony, and because Veterans of the Long War is still in place, I could just get another use out of Veterans of the Long War. And just it's just a lot of shots. It's just now I'd like to point out, this is partly like, if you like, I wonder why Connor just nuked his Havocs out of existence first turn. This is why. There's an exact science why.
I might try doing that.
Please
I don't.
No, my soul, it'll cry.
I mean, there is a reason, like, their saves are so high. They die, despite their 4-up invuln. I'm a horrible dice roller for some reason.
Yeah.
So they die very quickly.
It's quite easy for them to just get wiped out.
Yeah, basically. If you get rid of their invuln, they are dead.
It'd be like that.
It'd be like that.
You don't think it'd be IB, but it do. But yeah, onto the final unit of my army, which is the Twin Obliterators.
The big boys.
The big chunky boys. The boys that literally the Shadow Spear box comes with 2, and I ordered a third one because the original boxing of Obliterators came with 3, and that really bothered me. So I went and got one off of eBay. It's like, I can't be dealing with just 2.
Nah, you need 3.
And obviously this one's like, personally, I think this one's the cooler one because it has a cloak. The other one doesn't have a cloak. But it has a different array of weapons though. Because it's got a Reaper, I think it's got a Reaper chain cannon on one of its shoulder plates for the other one.
Oh.
It's got a different pose. I think he's on rocks on his pose. No, I've got to get through. I've promised myself I've got to get through my World Eaters. I've also decided now it's like, I really just want to do it. I've got a Chaos Sorcerer I want to just paint up, so I'll do that in between. Then move on to the Dark Imperium Space Marines, do him up in Dark Angel, and then move on to Shadow Spear. Say again, sorry.
I forgot you got Dark Imperium.
Yeah, Jacob got it as a essentially, it was almost essentially a share by birthday present. Because I got the Space Marines out of it, you got the Plague Marines out of it.
I mean, if it's something you can both use, then
yeah, it's very true.
Mm.
Obviously now it's been taken off of the shelf soon with 9th edition.
It is, yeah.
It's a big sad. Just means, I reckon the new Dark Imperium box is going to be essentially Space Marines and Necrons, or Space Marines, Necrons, and maybe Battle Sisters, maybe if we're nice, maybe if we're good enough for it.
Have you seen that photo of the new Necron models?
Yes, they
They
are.
look so good.
They do. Like, I think because it's taken somewhat of like the faces of some of the Necrons, of the Necron warriors, have looked like they've been softened up a little bit, where it's not
Yeah.
as like edge, like not as it like edgy, but it's like there's not as many. It's the faces are just kind of softer and rounder,
Yeah.
and then you just have. I think the destroyers look the most like absolutely different, and they look really swanky. They just have the big tall boy with the big tall sword.
He looks interesting.
Mm.
He does look interesting.
I love the look of the executioner though, for the Space Marines.
Yeah, to be fair.
That executioner's great sword is absolutely, it's just
It looks really good.
Yeah, because I think he's gonna play the role as like essentially what I have as a master of execution and just be like a melee character assassin.
Oh.
Because it's basically it's buffed up, essentially buffed out, so it's more easier. It helps them target HQs better and characters. Like it can if a master of possession is because master of possession not master of possession master of execution is within 6 inches, it can heroically intervene within 6 inches if there's a character in that little mosh.
Is that a bit like Consolidate?
A bit like Consolidate, yeah, but only characters can do it.
Oh.
Like heroic intervention is basically like is my because your more heroic intervention is 3 inches and you can just do it when you want to.
Yeah.
But with the master of execution, it's on a 6 inch.
Oh.
They can just go.
I'm here now.
And just charge in like a mad lad. But yeah, just finishing off with the obliterators. They've got their demonic, so they have a 5 up invuln save. They've got teleport strike, so I can put them up in deep strike and just not deploy them first turn and then deploy them within the second and third turn. And if I don't do that, then they're classed as dead, and they're just classed as they walked away.
Really?
Yeah, if you don't deep strike after during your movement phase of the third turn, they're classed as they can't summon them in afterwards. That's it. They're dead arena. Like you don't like if you're playing like a game where it's like if a unit dies and you get a point, I don't believe they count towards it. It'd be an absolutely mad way to deny people points, but but nah, it's something. It's like you can't deep strike first turn, you can't deep strike after third.
Oh, okay.
So on the third battle round, if you don't deep strike everything you've got, then did. Essentially, yeah. And then finally they have the flash metal weapon. So it's a 24-inch assault 6 weapon, a base strength of 6, but for the strength, in addition to the AP and the damage, that roll a d3 every time they for each. I roll 3 d3s every time they shoot, and I get an increased characteristics for its strength, its AP, and its damage. So I could potentially have 8 damage minus 2 AP, but 3 damage.
Right.
If I was rolling really lucky and really high, but I can guarantee you it's gonna be 7 minus 1 1.
Yeah.
Because the gods betray me. But yeah,
Honestly.
that is the army. That is the list. Now you make sure. OBS, please tell me I got rid of the card. I got rid of the card. Yes.
Hey.
We did it. And now we can talk about the game mode. So the setup is, if I recall, is the deployment zone is cut to the heart. Oh no, it's not. It's not cut to the heart. That's the objective deployment. The deployment zone is hammer and anvil. So we can take up quite a huge chunk of the ends of the board, with I having to set up here and Kim sitting up here. And then we have the objective markers here, here, and here.
Right.
The the mission, well, the game mode we're playing is retrieval mission. With retrieval mission, the end of the game plan is have as many of these at the end of the game, the final end turn, if it ends up being at round 5, round 6, round 7, whenever that may be, whoever holds at least one of these, if you hold one, you get 3 points at the end of the game. If you hold, obviously it's a cumulative, you hold 2, you get 6, and so on and so forth. But there's also slay the warlord. So if I kill the shadow seer, and vice versa, if Kim kills my sorcerer, we can achieve a singular point out of it. That's also the same with the usual game with first blood, where if we kill whoever kills the first squad, unit, character, whatever it manages to be killed off the board first, we get 1 point. And then finally, another end of game point to be had is line breaker. So if I have a unit behind Kim's line or vice versa, then we can achieve an additional point. It's not we go block it out if we're both in line break position. We both just get an additional point.
Oh, okay.
And if we get to round 5, the player who had the first turn must roll a d6. On a roll of a 3+, the game continues. Otherwise, the game is over. At the end of the battle round 6, the player who had second turn must roll a d6. This time, the game continues on a roll of 4 up. Otherwise, the game is over. The battle automatically ends at the end of battle round 7.
Right. Okay.
So, maximum potential 7 rounds. Minimal potential 5 rounds.
5. Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're all about there, and we're ready to deploy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, would you like to roll for see who deploys first?
Sure. Go for it.
I missed the box like a tit.
I got a 1.
I got a 4. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Alright, so I'm going to put my obliterators into Deep Strike. I have already messed up and flipped them on their sides. Why am I like this?
At least you haven't flipped the board. That's the good thing.
Don't tempt me.
Sure. You can go on. This is my side, isn't it?
Yeah, the blue side.
Right.
Well, the green, where the green barrier is. I've only just seen this. He's watching you.
Oh, they're all over. There's one over here, and there's one behind here that's like he's doing his part. Burn the heptic. They're all over.
Damn, man. Is this I think this is a Death Krug. I'm just assuming it's a Death Krug and just not question it further.
Go on, your one.
Game, please do not flip my units, please. Oh, why? I didn't even move them. I stopped moving and then it did it. What do you mean?
Oh.
You hate to see it. Don't mind, but no.
You're right there.
No. I'm never alright.
You managed to flip some as well.
Hmm?
You managed to flip some of them as well.
Yeah, like they just if you move too fast, it just congeals into a ball. It's just like, but why did you do this to me?
Honestly, I hate it, especially when you have a lot in one go.
Just like, but why?
Why did you do this to me?
Essentially. Yeah, I'm going to deploy my cultist into this crater.
Does that give what's it?
I believe it gives
benefit of
infantry
cover,
units that are entirely receive a cover save.
They're entirely within a crater, receive the benefit of cover.
The
Models are
only
slowed when charging across them.
yeah, it's like if you're charging from here, like how messed up have you been this entire game?
Oh boy. um. Oh. You got him?
Yeah. I've deployed my cortices. It's your turn.
Right. Well, I want to chuck these in that. So, can I do that and then chuck that out? Or does it not work like that?
I do not know. I've never had to deal with designated transport. Don't mind me as I quickly look at rules. The Codex Astartes does not support this action. Where is it? Rules, tell me. Why did Jacob give me this bookmark? I'm so confused. I'm just going to accept it.
To bookmark the page you need.
Probably. It was literally on the core rules page, so it would make sense.
That's probably why.
But it doesn't cover deployment. It doesn't cover deployment.
Honestly, it doesn't in my book either.
Why? GWY, why don't you tell us how to deploy properly? How could you? Right, so we're gonna go past the core rules. Because apparently it's not even mentioned like before like deployment, like not deployment, movement phase either. So it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, why?
Oh, well, let's say it in
there. Unless someone in the chat can answer. Can someone in the chat answer if like you can just do that, or do you have to put like the transport down and then the thingy or whatever? What do you need to do?
How do you eat them in?
Just yeet them in. Just, like, who's gonna stop
Oh,
you?
that's what me and Connor normally do. Just yeet them in and just move it.
Yeah, sod it. Yeah. Like go about how you'd usually go about it.
Right, they can go there then for now because they're all in this.
Oh yeah.
And that can go. There's no point in sticking it in the crater. It can go there.
Just
Not in the wall though. There we go.
It's like, yes, this wall tastes like wall.
I love the view. I have a view of a great poster.
I love the great earthy texture of wall. Oh, game, please don't complain like that. Just Daniels, I could provide moral support, but no practical knowledge. I'm sorry. It's okay. The moral support is enough. If it helps my morale rolls, I'm going to appreciate it even further.
I'm not fully aware on what to do on morale. We've gone through it, but it just doesn't stick for some reason.
Essentially, just roll a d6 and you just add how many models were removed that turn to that roll, and then if it matches or exceeds your leadership, then you yeet that many people higher than your leadership.
Oh, okay.
I think it's equal. I think if it is equal, you do it. But I'm just going to check. I do have the core rules here. Yes.
I should be okay for a while then, because all of mine are 8s and 9s.
To take a morale test. If the result of the morale test is higher than leadership characteristic, not equal to. So if it's only higher than.
Oh, okay.
So say like, for example, I'd managed to kill like 4 of your troops or your players.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just managed to roll like a 5. Then feels bad you lost that one guy.
Yeah. That poor soul.
That one poor soul.
The one poor soul that decided it wasn't worth the fun.
Was it worth the fight?
Nah.
Right, so I've deployed my Chaos Space Maroons.
Let's move these boys. They can also go. They can go over here. There you go.
Chuck in my Chaos Lord. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's your turn.
Yeah. Who should I
Yeah.
chuck out? I'll chuck these boys out. That made a weird noise when I picked them up. Let's stick him here.
Yours has been super nice and it's just like not yeeted itself out of existence.
It's because I move slowly.
Alright.
I don't just throw them around across it.
Oh no.
I do when they die, but not before.
I mean, understand. Oh, what do you mean? I didn't even move!